Hello everyone, good evening. Today uh, we had gathered here for this Dhamma reading. And before start of the session, we like to pay the homage of the Buddha. We can pay homage all together. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we will have Dhamma reading and Dhamma discussion from Majjhima Nikaya 66, the simile of the quail. Earlier we have read this part of this was read, and we will continue to read the remaining portion. And I request Nanda madam, if you are comfortable, you can read.
Yes.
And I will open. Last time I think we have read up to 12th page, I guess. We'll see. Do you remember, madam?
I think we finished. I think we got to start from this Venerable Udayin. I think it's number 2.
I think Korean monk we did not discuss, I think, no?
Yeah.
This explanation, I think we did not read about the Korean monk. Bante Vimlaramsi was giving the Korean monk. Yes, we did not read this. I think we can start from here, ma'am.
Suppose Udayin, there were a rich householder or a householder's son with great wealth and property, with a vast number of gold ingots, a vast number of granaries, a vast number of fields, a vast amount of land, a vast amount of wives, and a vast number of men and women slaves. He might see a monk in a monastery park, sitting in the shade of a tree, his hands and feet well washed after he had eaten a delicious meal, devoting himself to the higher mind. He might think how pleasant the recluse's state is, how wealthy the recluse's state is, if only I could shave off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. And being able to abandon his vast number of gold ingots, his vast number of granaries, his vast number of fields, his vast amount of land, his vast number of wives, and his vast number of men and women slaves, he is able to shave off his hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. Now, suppose someone said, the tethers by which that householder or householder's son is tethered so that he can abandon his vast number of gold ingots, his vast number of men and women slaves, and shave off his hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. For him, those are a strong, stout, tough, untrotting tether and a thick yoke. Would he be speaking rightly? No, Venerable Sir. The tethers by which that householder or householder's son is tethered so that he can abandon his vast number of gold ingots, his vast number of men and women slaves, and shave off his hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and go forth from the home life into homelessness. For him, those are a feeble, weak, rotting, callous tether. So too, Udayin, there are certain clansmen here who, when told by me, abandon this, abandon that, and do not show discourtesy towards me or towards those monks desirous of training. Having abandoned it, they live at ease, unruffled, subsisting on others' gifts, with mind as aloof as a wild deer's. For them, that thing becomes a feeble, weak, rotting, callous tether. The whole point of this being, it all depends on your attachment to things. You can have a lot of things and not be attached to them at all, and you can let them go reasonably easy, which is something that I did more than once, or you can have very little and be very much attached to it so that you can't do the things that lead your mind towards more wholesomeness. And it's all according to your attachment to it. There are some monks that are very much attached to the idea of one thing or another that they know the rules say you shouldn't do, but they do them anyway. And that leads to the restlessness, their lack of ability to have a calm mind. Every new full moon and new moon, when there are enough monks around, we sit down and we read the entire Patimokkha, all the rules of the monks. We know the rules, and some monks will come up with all kinds of justification how to get around this rule or that rule so they don't have to follow it. But those are the monks that are against meditation because they try to meditate in their mind because they know they broke the rule, even though they can justify breaking the rule, they know they broke it and they have a guilty mind.
Yes, Nanda madam. Can you explain, madam? Here,
Um,
yes.
um, this Venerable Udayin is saying that a rich householder with a lot of property and land and etc. Is able to renounce all that easily. Some people, when they have very little, they get attached to it.
Here, actually, I think there were a discussion that there was a very rich householder who has many property, having a great wealth. in the form of gold and fields and lands, wives, and many number of slaves. And there was a situation where he would see a monk who is sitting on a shade, uh, who is devoting himself to a higher mind, like he is practicing meditation. And what he is saying is, then what he was thinking, like here the statement it was given, like, if only I could shave off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and going to homelessness. Here the like last time we have discussed that the tethers by which that householder or householder son is tethered, so that he can abandon his vast number of coats, his vast number of men slaves, and shave off his hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and going forth from the home life into homelessness. For him, those are strong, stout, tough, unrotting tether and thick yoke. I think the statement here is true. Okay, it is a basically the perception of having attachment to something. Like here, Bante Ramsey also stating that everything, like whatever we have, like even Bante Ramsey says that, let us say some while practicing meditation, we may get in hindrances. And basically, the hindrances are our teachers. And it shows where our attachment is. In that way, we can think that uh, if let us say some hindrances are arising, it means that we have some attachment towards it. And here, basically, Bante is also saying that the you can have everything. The whole point is to having an attachment to it. It is a very good example that Bante V's Vembrams is giving here. And here, I think Bante was talking about the practicing having a restlessness mind, that we need to follow the precepts, like we as a lay followers need to follow the 5 precepts, whereas monks needs to follow the all the rules of Patimokkha, which is given. And if someone doesn't follow the precepts for lay people or doesn't follow the precepts for the monks, then the state of mind will lead to the restlessness. This is what I would like to convey, madam. What do you say, madam?
Yeah, I agree with you there. A mental detachment uh, is important.
Yes, ma'am. And next para I would like to read. An example of this is when I was in Burma, I was at a meditation center and there was a Korean monk that came. Now, when he first came, he could sit in meditation for between 2 and 3 hours without moving. As time went by, a few weeks, he started liking the idea of eating an evening meal. Now, he knows that he is not supposed to eat anything in the evening, but he ate anyway. By the end of 3 month retreat, he could sit in meditation for about 10 minutes before his mind became so active and so hard that he got up and stopped meditating. That's just from a simple thing of he ate when he knew he should eat. Now, this comes down to the precepts. your meditation is not going to be very good if you break a precept. Now, there's 4 parts to the speech precept. First, using harsh speech, cursing. Second, dividing people, trying to get them to fight with each other. Third part, gossip, which means made up stories that don't have anything to do with being the truth, and telling lies. Now, I know that there are some cultures that they have the idea that saying something that is not true is not telling a lie, but they have trouble meditating. They have trouble calming their mind. The precept of not telling a lie means if you knowingly try to mislead someone, little white lies in Asia past time. No matter what somebody thinks. So you say, hey, how do you like my new shirt? They will tell you it's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. They have never seen anything as good as that. And then when they walk away, talk about how ugly it is. Okay, those kind of white lies, they affect your meditation in a very negative way. It's better to say nothing than is it to tell somebody something that's not true. Here, actually, Bante Vimlamsi was explaining about a Korean monk who used to sit for a meditation for about 2 and 3 hours. And after a few weeks, what happened was, as we know, the monks have a certain rules where they are not supposed to have a solid foods in the evening. But this monk started eating in the evening, and he knew that he should not eat the evening meal. What happened was like after the end of the rains retreat, 3 months retreat, 3 month retreat. I think it is not retreat, rains retreat. It is 3 month retreat. He could not able to sit in meditation for about 10 minutes, and he got up and stopped meditating. The reason, only reason, because he could not able to meditate is he has broken the precept of eating the meal in the evening. Now, Bante Williams, he was telling that even we should not break a precept, whatever circumstances it may be. Like here, Bante was telling about the speech. There are 4 parts of speech. Like generally, we take precept like to abstain from telling lies, harsh speech, gossip, and slander. These are the 4 things which are covered in our precept. Similar way, Bante Mulamsi was explaining here, like in speech, having a speech precept in the sense, we should not use the harsh language or cursing someone. And second one is dividing people. By using the speech, like if we are dividing the people, it is like we are breaking the precept. And third thing is gossip. Gossip means making up stories, like telling something about someone, which makes like let us say some person is standing before me. Not like gossip is something like you say to someone in his at this circumstance when he's standing, you say something about him, and when they go out, when they leave, and you tell about same person in another way, which affects the people, which affects the language which you are speaking to another person, like you are basically making up a stories of someone. This is called as gossip and telling lies. And here Bante was talking about the having a white lies. Even small white lie which we make, like which we may, if someone says white lies, then it affects his meditation practice too. Like here, there was one example of someone, let us say, someone says that, how is my t-shirt? Then if someone says that it is very beautiful and it have never seen it, and after when he leaves, he says in another way that it is not good. That means he is telling a lie. Bante Vimamsi, what he was saying is, Bante was saying is, it is better to say nothing than something that's not true. Nanda madam, you can read here.
So it really turns into a problem after a while because you start losing confidence in the meditation being good, and you can start criticizing and saying things. And this is a form of gossip, saying things that aren't necessarily true. Among Buddhist monks, gossip is strong. It is, and it is really a shame because there's so many monks that they have the potential of being very good, but they like to get into the stories about what this monk is doing and what that monk is doing, and then they go and tell those stories and build on them, and it causes a lot of problems on down the road for the person that does the talking and the person they're talking about. It can cause some real problems. So we have to be real careful about this sort of thing.
Yes, it is true, true, Nanda madam. Can you summarize about what the Bante Williams is saying?
Yes, Bante Vimalaram say in one of his videos, he say keeping precepts is not negotiable. It's important to keep the precepts. When you think about Buddhism, I think Buddhism is talking about subtle thoughts and feelings, and it's good to keep the precepts all the time. And I think I can remember Acharya Delson saying, if you do break a precept, then take determination not to break it. So keeping the precepts is important. Keeping the sila is important.
Yes, yes, Nanda madam. And here Bante Williams was saying about there is a strong gossip in Buddhist monks where one talks about oneself. They make up stories about it. And basically they, because of this, I think they may be breaking the precept. You can continue, Nanda madam.
Majjhima Nikaya, Udayin, there are 4 kinds of persons to be found existing in the world. What are the 4? Here, Udayin, some person practices the way to be abandoning of the acquisitions to the relinquishing of the acquisitions. When he is practicing the way, memories and intentions associated with the acquisitions beset him. He tolerates them. He does not abandon them, remove them, do away with them, and annihilate them. Bante Vimalaram say, I have problems with these kind of descriptions. Now we are talking about thoughts, about past possessions that you had that come back to you. You know, I used to have a motorcycle. I was hot stuff. And the way you overcome those kind of attachments, and that's what they really are with the 6 R's. Recognize that that's what your mind is doing. Release it, relax, smile, come back to your object of meditation. See, this is why the meditation is all the time. And this is why I scolded you the other day, because you wanted to drop your daytime activity meditation. No, 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 no. If you can't watch your mind all the time, why are you trying to do any meditation at all? So the whole point being, gotta be able to watch what your mind is doing all of the time and give it the 6 R's when it tends towards being personal, when it tends towards being serious, when it tends towards your old attachments. You gotta 6R those. Now, this is what happens after you let them go. They become annihilated. In other words, you let go of the attachment to them, they won't arise anymore, right? You let go of an attachment to a car or a television or a bicycle, I don't care what it is. If you let go of the attachment to it, it doesn't come up into your mind very much anymore, does it? What you think and ponder on, that's the inclination of your mind. You think and ponder on things that you had in the past. Your mind is going to tend towards those things. When you 6R them, now you're letting them be, you're letting them go, you're not feeding the attachment anymore. You're letting go of the attachment. As you let go of the attachment, and it gives you more room for happiness, well-being, all of those uplifting things that I've been talking about for a long time to come up. But the more you hold on to old attachment and allow your mind to go back and play that number again, that is the cause of suffering. The only way to overcome the suffering is by experiencing the cessation of suffering. And how do you do that? The 6 R's.
Madam, can you summarize this thing, this page?
And now Lord Buddha is saying there are 4 kinds of persons. For example, some person practices ways to abandoning of acquisitions and abandoning the memories and intentions associated with those acquisitions. He tolerates them but does not abandon them. And then Bhante Vimalaramsi is saying, thinking about past possessions that you had. For example, he said he had a motorcycle and he did overcome attachment to it by practicing 6R by recognizing what his mind is doing. He's relaxing and smiling and then coming back to the object of meditation. He's saying we got to train ourselves to watch what our mind is doing all the time. And when we feel that we are attached to something, we got to use the 6R. He's repeating that when an attachment come into your mind, don't think about it, but use the 6R to release that attachment.
Yes. I would like to add here that Bante Williams is a famous state sentence which Bante says is what you think and ponder on. That's the inclination of your mind. And Bante says to, like as you said, Bante says to everyone to watch your mind. Watch your mind is doing all the time. And basically, and you can continue, madam.
And as you let go of the attachment, that gives you more room for happiness, well-being, all of those uplifting things that I've been talking about for a long time to come up. But the more you hold on to old attachments and allow your mind to go back and play that number again, that is the cause of suffering. The only way to overcome the suffering is by experiencing the cessation of suffering. And how do you do that? The
6
6Rs.
hours. Yes.
For however many years we've been alive, we have been allowing our mind to really get involved in thinking about this and thinking about that, and just kind of going wherever it wants to go. And because it likes to repeat things, it keeps coming back to certain instances. You know, when I was 5 years old, my mom got mad at me and she slapped me and put me in the closet. Now I'm deathly afraid of the dark. Why are you afraid of the dark now? Because of the attachment of what happened in the past. How do you overcome that fear? By the 6Rs. That is the key. That's the way to let go of old hard feelings and develop new soft feelings. I always act this way when this person or that person orders that. Well, you're just reacting in the way you always act. In other words, you're being unconscious. You're acting in an unconscious way. When you begin to learn more and more about the 6Rs and how they really do work, then you start responding instead of reacting. Somebody come up to you with an old attachment, and instead of you acting like you always act, now You're giving yourself the space to act in a new way, in a way that will be uplifting to you and everybody else around you. What is that? Come on, Bob. You got it on the tip of your tongue. Let it come out. Student interaction. And please smile. Ah, that's it. See, I knew you had it there.
Really, 6 hours is our tool to let go of the suffering. The Bante is saying here. And Bante was talking about how we can let go of our past, past remembrance or hindrances is through 6 hours. Like here, Bante was quoting about one example when he was 5 years old. He was his mom has slapped him and put him in a closet. Closet means Nanda madam, it is like keeping in a room, madam.
Yeah, yeah, a dark room.
And because of that, because of Bante got afraid even now because of it. And Bante was saying that we can overcome by applying 6 hours. And the very good sentence the Bante Vamsi used is by applying 6 hours, basically we are cultivating to a new soft feelings. And the Bante also says in many of the talks that instead of uh, reacting, we start responding. Like in general, like a normal lay person, if we see, he generally tends to react in a way situation. But as we go on practicing the 6 hours, we will start responding instead of reacting. Really very good thing which Pantamramsi has taught us. And in our process of 6 hours, we are making our mind uplifting by using the smile. Like Pantamramsi asked this question to student and student answers it. Now I will read and we can start having a discussion. Such a person who tolerates these kinds of old behaviors I call fettered, not unfettered. Why is that? Because I have known that particular diversity of faculties in this person. And what is he really saying? I have seen it in myself before I become enlightened. Here, Udayin, some person practices the way to the abandoning of the acquisitions, to the relinquishing of the acquisitions. When he is practicing the way, memories and intentions associated with the acquisition set him. He does not tolerate them. He abandons them, removes them, does away with them, and annihilates them. Such a person too I call fettered, not unfettered. Why is that? Because I have known the particular diversity of faculties in the person. Why would you be fettered by something like that? Because you allowed those to come up. You allowed your mind to get distracted by them, to get involved with them, and then you start letting them go, which is good, but you still have them coming up. Here, Udayin, some person practices the way to the abandoning of the acquisitions, to the relinquishing of the acquisitions. When he is practicing the way, Memories and intentions associated with the acquisitions beset him now, and then through lapses of mindfulness, his mindfulness may be slow in arising, but he quickly abandons them, removes them, does away with them, and annihilates them. Just as if a man were to let 2 or 3 drops of water fall onto a iron plate heated for the whole day. The falling of the water drops might be slow, but they would quickly vaporize and vanish. So too, some person practices the way his mindfulness may be slow in arising, but he quickly abandons them, removes them, does away with them, and annihilates them. Such a person too I call fettered, not unfettered. Why is that? Because I have known the particular diversity of the faculties in this person. Here, Udayin, some person having understood that acquisition is the root of suffering. Now, we are not always talking about material things. When we are talking about acquisition, you hold on to an attachment, you talk about the attachment, tell everybody else around that you have an attachment, and guess what you are attached. I think we can here we will summarize and we will have some discussion about the practice. Here in Sutta, here Bhante say, Buddha says that some person practices the way of abandoning things, and when he is practicing, what here it is saying that even though he has a lapses of mindfulness, means his mindfulness is slow, but he quickly abandons them by right practicing, I guess. Here there is a one simile. The Buddha says that there is a uh, heated iron plate, and if some 2 or 3 drops falls over it, it quickly vaporizes and vanishes. In similar way, even though someone's mindfulness is slow, but he practices in such a way that it gets vaporizes, like whatever the hindrances comes before it completely arises, if someone lets go of it, then one Buddha says that he is fettered, not unfettered, because he has understood the root of the suffering. It's very in-depth meaning of having understood the acquisition of root of suffering. And whatever the hindrance may be, the hindrance is hindrance. We cannot make it as big or small, and important or not important. Hindrance is hindrance. We need to just relax. 6R applies, 6R as recognized. Release the distraction, relax the tightness present in our head and body, and re-smile and return to your object of meditation. And I think we can stop here and have some discussion. Nanda madam, can you share something about Dhamma, which will help everyone?
Um, I think this sutta is about mentally abandoning attachment um, to material things as well as um, our thoughts and feelings. That's what I feel this sutta is about. I mean, Siksha process is doing exactly that, I think. And I think mind is chief is absolutely right. Mentally abandoning the attachment to craving and clinging, which Bhante Vimaramsya have introduced the 6R process, which helps us to mentally detach ourselves to unwholesome states and train our mind to focus on the wholesome, which is the right effort. The Four Noble Truths is here in this sutta as well. Attachment is the cause for suffering. Attachment to craving and clinging is the main cause for suffering. So if we can mentally abandon the attachment, we will eventually get into the samadhi state. It is important to keep the precept, sila, samadhi, panya, the Noble Eightfold Path. It is a good sutta emphasizing to me mentally abandon the attachment to unwholesome craving and clinging, and desire is the main cause for our suffering, and use the 6 R's. Thank you.
Yes, Madam Nanda, Madam. It is true that the sutta talks about the attachment, and we have a wonderful tool of applying 6 R's, which we may be free from suffering. And Gopinath sir, do you want to say something, share something?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Gopinath sir, you can share something.
Yeah, this 6 hours basically it improves everything. And our state of mind is either victim mode or champion mode. When we are in the victim mode, waves of unwholesome thoughts arises. Like poor me, I am old, I don't have anybody. Like that thought comes, there is a waves of unwholesome thought. We have to replace that unwholesome to wholesome by this what you call abundant and 6 hours. But 6 hours is a very difficult thing. I took nearly 1 year to reach even 80%.
6 R's. You're talking about 6 R's, sir.
Yes.
And
But it
now
is
you could
very.
able to understand, sir.
Now I am able to understand, but seeing it is very simple. But it took for me. It took 1 year. Otherwise, now it's okay. Now because of these 6 hours only, now I am able to meditate 2 to 3 hours.
Great.
Otherwise it was impossible. Even to starting time to sit for half an hour was very difficult. Now, over a period of time, everything improves. Now, thought pattern has changed because I am able to change my thought pattern because of these 6 hours.
Yes, same, sir. I do feel same that it has also taken some time for me even to know the practice. Like, definitely, I feel that we are fortunate enough to get the practice of 6 hours, which is helpful for us to maintain our state of mind, watch our
Yes.
mind.
Otherwise, we are always in a victim mode.
Truly. Correct, sir. Yeah,
Now,
true. 100% true.
converted to the champion mode. Victim mode, it invites unwholesome thoughts.
Yes,
Fear and everything comes out. And, one is to, before it was 1:100, one wholesome thought and 100 unwholesome. Now that is unwholesome is replaced by wholesome thought because of abandoning 6 hours, everything. That time clinging automatically stops. Otherwise, we do something, mind goes somewhere else.
truly. Truly, sir.
Mhm. So that clinging, when that clinging stops, mind don't go anywhere.
Yes, sir.
So this is my experience. So by the way, because I have done Brahma Kumari meditation and Vipassana, this is my third roundup. So this
Okay,
third roundup, I am able to sit in quiet mind, say about 2 to 3 hours is not difficult for me now, presently.
great. Great, sir.
But so far I have not achieved any Nibbana or anything like that. But 3 hour sitting is not difficult now.
Great.
Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Nice to share. It will be inspiring for everyone. And we will share the merit and we will close the session, sir.
Okay.
We can read all along. May suffering ones be suffering free, and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and air, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thanking you, Nanda Madam. Thanking you, Gopinath Sir. Thanking you, Sindhu, for joining. And I wish all beings to be happy and peaceful. Thank you.